Well, Jay, we gotten a little ahead of ourselves talking about this gin here. Can you roll us back a little bit and talk about how this started and where
Yeah,
Chicago
absolutely.
Distilling came from? I mean, I did peruse your site and I saw, right there on the homepage, what the inspiration was. But if you could really walk us through the story of how this came to be, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you bet. So quick summary of the inspiration, because it is out there on the website, and the website's a little bit dated, but we'll go with it. We used to moonshine with my wife's family in the northern Wisconsin area, up north of Eagle River, if you guys are familiar with that area.
Yeah, I used to live in Swamico on the north side of Green Bay. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I know Swamico. My wife's cousins live there. I've frequented Swamico. I dig it.
Cool. Were you on the Moonshiner TV show?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. So you have all your teeth, and you're not like wearing overalls.
We're slightly more educated and
that's good.
I guess a little bit more photogenic in a different kind of way, because they're very photogenic in their own special way.
Exactly right. Not a photo you'd want to see, but a photo you have to see. Yeah, I get it.
I love Tickle, dude. If he's still on, for the second season, I think they did all the Tickle musings, etc. Good stuff. But anyways, so used to do that up there during deer season, right? Playing cards, drinking beer, shooting deer, making alcohol. All that kind of stuff. Then in 2010, Illinois created the craft distiller's license. So at that point, my brother and I kind of looked around and we were trying to figure out, all right, what entails a craft distillery, especially in the state of Illinois and more locally in the city of Chicago. So looked into it. There wasn't much competition out there, if any, really. So we decided to give it a go. It took us 2.5 to 3 years to actually get everything together and built and equipment purchased and space leased, etc. So we opened our doors. Well, we started legally distilling October 2013 at our space down in Logan Square in Chicago. And then we opened up the tasting room January 2014. And it's been fast forward, we're about 8 states, and we ship to Australia right now. So 6 years later, That's kind of where we sit.
Now, what was that process like? I mean, I've looked into opening a brewery, and I know it's a pain in the ass and very expensive. Is distilling just as much of a pain and even more expensive, or?
Yeah, I'd say opening they're all pains, right? Because you got to go through all the paperwork and get federal and state, and then of course local municipality to get on board with it. Costs are a little bit different in distillation. So I've looked in doing a brewery in our facility as well. We have I think class 1 brewer's permit, and I've had that for 3 years. I've just never taken a crack at putting a small, 3 or 5 barrel brew house in there just for on-premise beer only. So I know the comparison of the two. Distillation's a little bit different. The still we have, essentially, I could put an entire 5 barrel brew house in for the cost of the still. So it was startup costs about double. The heavy expense that comes in a distillery, if you choose to make whiskey, that's an overhead business. So we make the whiskey. If I make whiskey today, it's not coming out of that barrel for at least 4 years. So you're sitting on all that for 4 years. So that's where a lot of expenses pile up, and it can become overwhelming.